Blade Runner 2049 is the sequel that is 35 years in the making, directed by Denis Villeneuve, or as I like to call him, God with a camera. The first Blade Runner came out in 1982. If you guys follow my channel, then you know that I did review that one a few days ago, just to prepare for this one. Blade Runner 2049 takes place 30 years after the original, and I really don't want to tell you shit about this movie. I don't want to tell you shit. The trailers were very misleading. There were a lot of surprising twists and things that I wasn't expecting when I walked out of this movie, and I don't want to spoil that for anybody. So I'm going to sum up this plot as simple as I can. K is a Blade Runner. K is played by Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling as K is investigating a series of older replicants. He's still hunting them down. He's still killing them. And when he hunts one of them down, he stumbles across this huge mystery. The more he investigates and the more he tries to unravel this mystery, the more his own life becomes unraveled. And then there are some shocking revelations along the way that has to do with humans and replicants. And so that is all I'm willing to tell you about the story of Blade Runner 2049. This movie was incredible! This movie was so fucking good! It was so motherfucking good! I love this movie! Okay. Let me back up. Let me try this again. Let me try to be professional. This movie is art. It is just art. It is a Picasso. It is a Mona Lisa. It is my precious! I have no idea why reviewing this movie suddenly turned me into Gollum from Lord of the Rings, but okay, let's get down to this thing. I have been a big fan of Denis Villeneuve for years now. Every film that he has come out with, I have loved. This thing is masterfully directed. It is so expertly crafted. Denis Villeneuve, I am convinced at this point that this guy could wake up in the morning, take an artsy-fartsy shit, and I would look at that artsy-fartsy shit, and I would say that that is the best-looking goddamn artsy-fartsy shit in that toilet bowl. I am serious. This man shits gold. I worship at your feet. What I loved about the way he directed this film is that every scene adds to the movie. There isn't like a throwaway scene. There isn't like a scene that's like, oh, well, this doesn't matter. This doesn't really add anything. Every scene is important. Every little detail in this film counts, just like the original Blade Runner. Denis Villeneuve did such a great job of capturing the spirit and the essence and the feel and the tone of the original Blade Runner, and he just applies that into this movie because every scene adds to the scene that came before it, and it just kind of keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. I also want to shout out the sound mixing, the sound editing in this movie. This movie sounds incredible. The way that the sound effects and the sound editing ebbs and flows with the musical score in this film, which is also really great, composed by Hans Zimmer. This movie isn't loud in like an annoying way. It's really loud in like a, we're here and you're experiencing this with us type of thing. Beautifully loud. That's the only way I could describe it. Beautifully loud. Like I said, the musical score was composed by Hans Zimmer, who I guess took over for Johan Johansson, who has worked with Denis Villeneuve before. He does such a great job of honoring the original musical style of Blade Runner while also mixing in his own signature bombastic, larger-than-life sound. Cinematography in this thing, good lord, sweet Jesus. This movie is so fucking beautiful. This is a visual masterpiece in every sense of the word. Every frame, every shot, every pan of the camera was done to absolute 100% perfection. There's no such thing as a perfect anything. I don't think anything is perfect, but I will be hard-pressed to find someone out there who will look me dead in my face and tell me that the shots and the cinematography in this film was not perfect, because it was. It's like this movie was having sex with my eyes. That's how I felt while watching this. Like, oh, orgasm. Good lord. Roger Deakins, seriously, Oscars, I'm looking at you. Pay that man. Then we get down to the performances in this film. Ryan Gosling was so great as Agent K. Or I guess not Agent K, he's Officer K because he's a Blade Runner, but whatever. And what I can say about Ryan Gosling, the best thing about his performance and the best thing about his character too, is that there's a great sense of discovery with him. I mean, he's investigating this thing, and the deeper that this mystery gets, the more you discover about his character, and the more that he discovers about his character, the more he reacts to it, and then we get to react to him reacting to it. And it just makes you feel so invested in his journey. Harrison Ford also gives a very emotionally charged and powerful performance in this thing. It's some of his best work in years too. I don't want to spoil anything that has to do with the character of Deckard, but just know that Harrison Ford himself was masterful in this movie. It is not a wasted performance. He is definitely not collecting a paycheck. Jared Leto is not in the film that much, but when he is in it, he makes his impact known. I'm gonna mispronounce her name. I think it's the hot chick that kind of plays Ryan Gosling's sort of love interest in this movie. It's Anna Amas, or Amas. Fuck, I'm so bad with names. She was great too, and she surprisingly played a much more pivotal role in the story than I would have thought. I love the story of this film. I love the way it unfolds. I love the layers to it. I love the fact that you're going along on this ride with this mystery, and it's a really intriguing and really complex mystery. They made this a cerebral, thought-provoking sci-fi. The themes, the ideas about humanity, about life, about morality, about society in general, about social consciousness. You could literally pick this movie apart and find something deeper hidden in almost every shot, every line of dialogue in this movie. Wait, were there any problems with this movie? The one flaw that I do have with this movie is that there are some characters and some story plot arcs that kind of get left hanging. It's not like in a, oh, well, come back for the sequel type of thing. It's really more of like there was just no real resolution with some characters and some character arcs, and I can't get into spoilers until I get into the spoiler review. Outside of that, I got nothing for you. This movie was almost flawless. Some people are going to complain that the movie was a little bit too long and whatever, the pacing drags or whatever, and you know what else is long? This dick! Yeah, and ain't nobody got a problem with that, right? You know what, that sounded a lot better in my mind than when I actually said it, but you guys, you understand what I'm saying. I loved every second, every shot, every frame, every performance of this movie. I cannot recommend it highly enough. If I had a higher rating than this, you could bet your ass that this movie would get. Blade Runner 2049 officially is Superman Prime certified. Like and subscribe to the Superfan Show. Stay tuned for my spoiler review of Blade Runner 2049. I'll probably release that Monday. If you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.